Caution, this podcast is naughtier than a mischievous cat hopped up on catnip with a laser pointer. Listener discretion is advised. Your episode starts in 3, 2, 1. I imagine the two of you are absolutely excited that I didn't pick a fucked up book for this episode. Wait a minute. I didn't pick an as fucked up book for this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, compared to some of your other picks, this is very hearts and rainbows and marshmallows.
Absolutely.
In case you think you hit play on the wrong podcast, this is the only podcast to listen to. Welcome back to the Lusty Library. If this is your first time listening, thank you for blessing us with your patience and your time. Just a little bit about what we do here. Each episode, one of the hosts will pick a romance novel that none of us have read before. We drink signature cocktails in copious amounts that pair beautifully with the book. And then I yell and scream for the next 90 minutes to my co-host Birdie, while my co-host Lex just rolls her eyes and laughs at the two of us. If you're a repeat listener, thank you. This is the book for you because it deals with a little bit of sadism and masochism. So that means this book is right up your alley.
Oh, you got a snort laugh out of me on that one.
Good.
And of course, because we cannot function to be in a room with each other for 90 minutes without a cocktail, today's signature cocktail will put hair on your chest. So please make sure you have a pair of tweezers or a wax kit ready to go. And enjoy with us The Hunter. Make sure you visit us at the lustylibrarypodcast.com to get this cocktail recipe and make probably a dozen for you. And make sure you have a bucket to throw up afterwards.
Nah, this is a sipping cocktail.
Yes.
I will use any excuse to buy the Luxardo liqueur. It's so beautiful with the wrap around the green bottle. It's so pretty.
Always done in by good design.
I know. At least I'm consistent.
And for me, it just tastes delicious.
It does. I wouldn't normally like a cherry-flavored thing, but I really like this one. I think it's the bourbon that balances it out.
Yeah.
So.
You may be asking yourself, why did I choose a cocktail called The Hunter? Well, because it works perfectly with today's book. Today we're talking about Pray Tell by Amanda Richardson.
Prey. Just in case anybody needed some clarification, Pray Tell is the Pray, usually. So
if you've never heard of this book because you live under a rock, let me give you the summary.
Apparently I live under a rock.
I was just thinking that, is this being talked about a lot?
Oh my God, it is an Amazon top 20 seller.
Wow.
The whole series is.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Listen, the two of you are not in this bookish world.
No.
So I will tell you, for a lot of books I read or anything that I add to our spreadsheet that our listeners don't recommend, I follow what is hot and what is popular and figure out why is it hot and popular. So a lot of the books I pick, if you haven't noticed, are somewhere on there that people are buzzing about. And I fucking have book FOMO, 1,000%. So if someone is sitting there talking about this really spicy, well-written book, well, fuck, you better believe I'm going to pick it up and read it and be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm there to help support your journey.
Yeah, my habit and my addiction in life.
We're very good enablers.
Yeah.
Let me give you the summary. They say monsters are made, not born. He was both. Chase. As the second youngest Ravage brother, I've spent my entire adult life rectifying our tainted family name and keeping my urges behind closed doors. Until my best friend's little sister shows up at the hunt, ready to play, and I lose control. I tell myself it's just a taste. Except with her, I should have known a single taste wouldn't be enough. And then the good girl I've known most of my life drops to her knees. For me. From that moment on, I knew she would only ever be one thing. Mine. Juliet. Presenting my brother's best friend with a pros-cons list of why he should take my virginity seemed like a good idea at the time. I thrive on information, data, and lists. and it made sense on paper until he rejected me and walked out of my life. Now, 8 years later, my life's falling apart despite my careful planning. Tempted with an invite to Ravage Castle, I show up seeking answers to questions I'm not sure I can handle. Except a furious Chase finds me talking to another man under his gilded arched roof. I soon learn that despite his controlled exterior, Chase seems to have one weakness. Me. Oh my God, I saw the eye roll occur on that.
I fucking hate this summary so much.
Yeah.
Ugh. The book is so much better than that summary.
Yeah.
Joey, you gave us another billionaire romance.
What? Admittedly, I have to say, when I kind of look back at the 1,087 romance novels I have read,
Is that where you're at?
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, I love books like this. So as we're going through the list, I'm like, yeah, billionaire, check, alpha, check, little bit of kink, check. I am fucking predictable. I will put these books down my gullet. I really do enjoy them.
You know, I actually had that thought, Lex. I was just like, it's another billionaire. And then I was just like, listen, I want to escape to a billionaire too. Let's fucking go. In my fantasy, I ain't going to be lacking cash.
This is true.
So,
This is
you know
very
what?
true.
Part of me is all in on this shit.
Except for the gigantic castle that comes up in this book and maybe the private plane. There was an extreme level of opulence of money in this. Okay, never mind. Please disregard.
Oh my God, there's so much opulence. And that was
know.
actually fun to read. Yes, I roll my eyes at the billionaire and I'm teasing you just a little bit, but it's kind of fun to read what they consider opulent, what they would do with their money.
Yes.
What they find exciting about having that much money.
Yes.
So it's kind of like an interesting little window into looking into the author of like, oh, so you got your billionaire. This is where you're going with it. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Let's
Yep.
talk more about that dress a little later.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that dress.
I think you're clearly understanding from the summary that this book delves into a little bit. Okay, it delves into a lot of BDSM. So please make sure you check your trigger warnings. Just be prepared. This episode, we're going to talk a lot about Dom Sub, CNC. For those of you that don't know, it's consensual non-consent, spanking, primal play, predator, prey play, rough sex, use of a riding crop, parental death, child neglect, coming out themes, and anxiety. So any of those, which are trigger warnings within this book, may come up in this episode. So if you're a little bit of delicato, please step away, enjoy some of our lighter fare episodes. But if you're like me, get ready to dive on in as we talk about this book. This book opens up in a prologue, which basically sets the structure for the book.
Yes.
Chase Ravage is wearing a three-piece suit. He probably has the jacket off. Pink gloves while he's washing the dishes at his friend's house.
Oh, so hot.
And here comes Juliet stumbling up the stairs in her heels, little old 18-year-old Juliet. A little tipsy. She's been out. And Chase happens to be the best friend of her older brother, Jackson. And of course, because everybody needs a tragic backstory, Juliet and Jackson lost their parents 2 years ago to a tragic accident. So they're orphaned. Jackson is Juliet's guardian.
Yes.
And the billionaire Chase Ravage is washing the fucking dishes in the house. And he hears Juliet stumbling up the stairs and he goes and he sits there and chats. Now, they've had a history. Jackson and Chase have been besties since they were in 9th grade. And they're 6 years older than Juliet. So he's been part of the family for a long time. And he loves to be in this house because this house's dynamic was very different than his. Juliet's a very thought-out, methodical, data-driven individual. This young lady is going to do big things in her life. And she's a little concerned because she's going into her freshman year of college, and she still has her hymen intact. So she asks big, brooding, older brother's best friend, to take her V card for her so that she can go into college hymenless like the rest of the girls. And she puts out this list. And what does Chase say to her?
He turns her down.
The big thing that he says is that she shouldn't give it away just 'cause, get it out of the way, that she should be with somebody who treats her like she's a 7-course meal.
I loved that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, 7 courses does make you a little full, though.
it does.
You need to wear the pants with the elastic bands for that.
You can't have it every meal.
So she's really upset because it seems like she's got a little bit of a crush on Chase, and he just flat out rejects her.
He can't have her because he's not good enough for her, and he would break her. And doesn't want to do that to something so pure and innocent.
Yeah.
And he's cared about her for a very long time.
Fast forward 8 years later. Our girl Juliet is in bed with her fiancé, Dylan. Oh, God, this fucking dude got on my last nerves.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Douche canoe.
Yeah.
1,000. So they're having sex. And you can hear her say that Dylan's never given her an orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
That usually they have sex, he gets off, and then she'll grab Wolverine
I love that she calls her
Yeah.
brother Wolverine.
Yeah, yeah.
to finish her up. And the fact is, they have sex, he has his orgasm, and he's like, oh, do you want me to help you get off? Which pretty much means him watching her get herself off.
What a fucking asshole.
Yep.
But then you hear the turmoil in Juliet's head. This fucking guy's great on paper, but do we actually love each other? There's no chemistry, but does that really matter? At the end of the day, when you get old, if the two of you are compatible, then it's the right thing to do.
Oh, God, I hated it so much for her. Ugh.
The convincing that she's doing to herself
It was
the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time.
Painful.
You know, they're both in academia. They got similar backgrounds. They even worked on projects together. Like, all the boxes get checked except for, things like passion and romance
And chemistry.
and fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the worst part, and what I found to be kind of the oddest component of the book. She is getting her PhD in human sexuality.
That killed me. I was like, I'm sorry. What? You haven't figured out a way to communicate with your fiance that you've been seeing for many years to get to the point where you can have a good sexual relationship? What the fuck?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a thing of during her research, she's just found that so many other people have unfulfilled sexual lives that
Maybe.
she's just like, yeah, this is the norm. It's okay.
Right.
She happens to live in her family house that her and her brother grew up in with her fiance.
Mm-hmm.
After being completely unfulfilled, and she goes into the kitchen and living room area, and there is her brother Jackson out there.
So awkward.
He's there because he currently lives with Chase at his beautiful penthouse. But Chase happens to be throwing one of his special little dirty parties. And Jackson just couldn't be there. He needed some peace and quiet because he's a preschool teacher.
And he's working on his play, doing Much Ado with preschoolers.
Yeah, that was so funny.
He is a preschool teacher at a very high-end Catholic school.
Yes.
So, of course, they're not going to do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star in the preschool play. So she's sitting there bantering with him, and Juliet and Dylan's engagement party is the following night at this beautiful restaurant. And in a way, I kind of felt right off the bat Jackson wanted to say something to her about the relationship with Dylan, but kind of was holding back.
He had a moment. He was like, hey, are you? Well, never mind.
Yeah.
So then flash to Chase. Chase is the president of Ravage Marketing Consulting with his brother Miles. His family comes from money. They live in a motherfucking castle, Ravage Castle, that his great-grandfather came and built, but the entire family has a horrible, horrible reputation. Because Daddy Charles did a little bit of a Ponzi scheme on a bunch of people. It's been all over the news. Somehow wasn't convicted of his crimes. Now is living overseas at one of the other places. But the family reputation has been completely sullied. And Chase and his brother Miles are trying to get their business up and running that they've been doing for a long time. and get the family reputation back. But Chase is a little bit of a bad boy, isn't he?
Fuck yeah, he is.
Chase is a certified dominant. He lives in the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
He takes on subs. He has contracts. He has NDAs and very particular rules. He will only be with a sub one time. Never a repeat sub. There are very strict lines in what he does. And he has been within this lifestyle for the past 10 years.
Yep.
Guess what? He hasn't really seen Juliet in 8 years. Because after he turned Juliet down, he kept his distance from her. So it's been maybe a passing Thanksgiving here, a passing Christmas here. But the following day is a big day. It is Juliet and Dylan's engagement party at this Black Rose restaurant.
One of the only 3 Michelin-star restaurants in California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there are swans at the event.
Yeah, didn't know they allowed swans. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. She goes in, and there's candles and black roses everywhere.
She loves black roses. They're her favorite flower. Ding, ding, ding. The champagne that's getting passed around on trays, flowing like water, is a vintage year that's her birth year.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, ding, ding.
Mm-hmm.
And party favors that are little chocolates in the shape of Wolverine.
Oh, I thought it was the ice sculptures.
No, both.
Oh, okay.
The little chocolates were Wolverine, and the ice sculpture was Wolverine.
Ding, ding, ding. It's more like a Juliet party.
Juliet's like, how the fuck did my brother Jackson, a preschool teacher, pay for all of this?
Okay, let's start right there.
Okay.
Oh, my God. I was just sitting there going, come on. His best friend is a billionaire. Duh.
Yeah.
You should have known the minute you walked in the door to the big restaurant and not just realized it was like one of the little side rooms or maybe a table. Of course it was Chase.
Yeah, it's so silly.
You ninny.
Because of the closeness, and Chase has been taking care of the family since their parents died, it could be that Jackson borrowed money from Chase. But I think slowly, after 4 or 5 flutes of the super expensive champagne, she realizes, fuck. Jackson has no clue about some of the things I'm asking him about in regards to this party.
And he's also making it a little bit obvious in his responses as she's prodding him. She's like, you're going to pay him back though, right? And he's like, yeah.
And then Jackson just opens his mouth and says, okay, fine. Chase paid for this and he's going to offer to pay for the wedding. Juliet's pissed. So she's walking towards Chase, who happens to be on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Chase stops her and brings her into one of the small offices.
Because he said, don't make a scene, Parker.
Uh-huh.
Because they always call each other by their last names.
I do love Ravage as a nickname.
As a nickname, but like Chase Ravage.
I mean, yes, for a
on.
book, it's ridiculous, but wouldn't it be cool if your last name was Ravage?
It's just that it's so on the nose for
What happens in this book?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. It's actually so painful, I can't even think about it.
I was going to say, Bertie, this is usually your thing.
I know.
Why am I the one bringing this up?
I think what happened with this name is that it was actually so painful that I just completely shut it out and was like, I'm not going to think about that because if I do, I won't make it through the book.
Again, I can never identify what things you like laser beam on and other things you're like, oh, that dirt's not here. We're brushing it under the rug.
Listen, I was invested from the first word of the title of this book. When I started to understand what it was going to be about, I was like, oh, fuck, I am in. Give me some new, fresh kink, baby.
Right?
Yes.
Great.
Yes. I was excited that that's what this was about.
Yes.
The two of them are in the office. They're exchanging words. Chase is asking her, does he treat you like a 7-course meal? Does he satisfy you? And she lies to him. And because he is a dom in the lifestyle, he knows how to read body language and visual cues. And he can tell immediately when she's lying. Not that they don't have 10 years of history with each other. So he keeps calling her out on the lies, and then she verbal diarrheas the truth. Oh, I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy. And then all of a sudden, being drunk, she changes her tune. They have a conversation about that. She cannot handle sexually everything that Chase does. She's like, yeah, I can handle all of it. He's like, no, I don't think you can. He invites her to one of his elite parties that he has at the house. And she's like, oh, one of your sex parties? She's like, no, thank you.
And he's like, yeah, case in point. See, you don't want to come.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, fair enough. You can't keep up with me.
She says, leave me alone. We haven't been in each other's life for 8 years. This is it. You're not paying for the wedding. I'm going back to my fiancé.
Oh, and I'm paying you back for this party.
Right.
Fast forward to the next morning. Juliet sure as hell can't fucking sleep. She got a lot happening. She had Chase's thigh between her legs, a lot of chemistry. They were locked in a small little office together. The words that were exchanged, the thought that Juliet can't handle what Chase has to give her. So 4 o'clock in the morning, she's bouncing out of bed. She's like, I'm going for a run.
Mm-hmm.
And Dylan hears her getting up out of bed. And he's like, it's early. You going for a run? Worst fucking scene ever. So he says to her, do you want to have sex? And she's like, okay. She's like, I want you to bend me over. I want you to fuck me hard. I want you to choke me. I want you to pull my hair. All of a sudden, all this stuff comes out.
But she says it so awkwardly. She's like, just grab my neck or something. It was the or something where she just couldn't really even articulate what she was looking to have done. She just knew it, something different.
I just want you to bend me over and fuck me or something.
Yeah. And he's like, no, that would be so disrespectful.
And then she clearly now is very frustrated over the whole thing. And he says, you want to just give me a blowjob?
Oh my God, I wanted to punch him in the fucking face.
Like, what
Right.
the fuck? She gives him the blowjob, and then she goes out for her run.
I can't even believe she did that. I would have been like, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Thank you very much.
Go say hello to either Mr. Right or Mr. Left, and I'll be on my run.
Yeah.
She doesn't make it more than 2 miles after she goes for a run, and she turns back around, and he's up. He's walking around the house. She's like, are you in love with me? And ultimately comes to find out the two of them aren't in love with each other. There's no heat. There's no chemistry. They're just basically roommates that have really poor sex with each other, and they end up breaking up the engagement.
No,
Just like
they
that.
don't. She takes the ring off and
Yep.
she gives it back.
But he seems like he doesn't put up a fight. Nothing. He's like, okay.
There's not a tear shed.
No.
No questions. He's like, great, I'll be moved up. By the time you get back from your run.
And she feels relief.
Yeah. So fast forward. Now she's a free woman. So she's like, I'm going to go to Chase's party. She shows up at the party. There are people with bags, people that are checking in the front, signing this shit. She's like, what fucking kind of party is this? So she goes up to check in, and they do not have her name on the list.
Mm.
So she's like, well, call Chase Ravage, because I should be on the list. And here comes this older, good-looking man behind her who's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. She's with me.
I loved that at first. I was like, ooh, fun.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I was like, ooh, here's a guy that's going to make the whole situation jealous. Wonder what's happening upstairs.
Yep.
But as they're in the elevator moving upstairs, what is the vibe you got from this mystery gentleman?
A little bit slimy.
Yeah, a little bit slimy. But I
Yeah.
did appreciate the use of this character for a lovely exposition dump on what the world is all about and how to function in the world.
The difference between a good dom and a bad dom.
Yes. We got through a lot of the formalities of how does this particular BDSM world work in very short time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah.
So we find out in this brief elevator ride to the penthouse,
Mhm.
something's happening upstairs, isn't it? So they arrive upstairs, the door's open, and she's like, why the fuck does Chase not think I can handle this? This looks like an upscale dinner party. I
Yeah.
feel like a Raggedy Ann doll with all these high-end people here. There are the black roses, tons of people milling about, the expensive champagne going on. She's like, fuck, I can handle this. Until a waitress comes over with masks.
Mhm.
I want to go to one of these parties.
Yeah. And the mystery guy with her is like, oh, you should put one on. Just put one on. Because that tells everybody that you're in for what's about to happen tonight. No explanation, no nothing.
Yeah.
He basically tries to talk her in. And then she sees on the wall that there's a countdown clock. Well, what the fuck is happening here?
Who's in the distance? Chase comes on up and he's storming over.
Ah, it's so good.
He pulls her away and gets Ben Hurst thrown out. He tells him that he's not welcome there, that his business deal is off.
Yeah. Oh, so hot.
Yeah.
Power.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that Ben Hurst is not well liked in the community because of the way he behaves.
This particular moment was so great. I actually wrote down a quote from this moment because it encapsulated so much of what Chase's feelings were and just about the greater context. So he says to Juliet, Ben Hurst is what we call a fake dom in this community. Men who seek out submissives thinking that being a dom means domineering and foregoing consent. He took advantage of your newness. Trust is a massive part of playing. Unfortunately, not everyone understands that. And I was like, chef's kiss.
Yes.
Great little sequence right
Yes.
there, wrapped up in a nice little bow.
Ultimately, BDSM is about one thing and one thing only. The core crux of it is a power exchange between the dom and the sub. The sexual acts or the non-sexual acts, or if it's pleasure or if it's pain or it's a combination of two, degradation, praise. There's so many different kinks within this realm, but ultimately it all begins with a power exchange between two individuals that agree that these are the things that we want to explore. These are our hard limits, but this book was so beautifully done. I really liked how it outlined it. The entire series, which delved into different kinks within the BDSM community. So I thought it was really cool.
I super appreciated the way it was portrayed. And it being not just about one partner, but both. It is a relationship, each partner getting their needs fulfilled. And I liked that that was outlined so well in this book.
So basically, Chase comes over. He's like, why are you here? She's like, you invited me. He's like, well, I never thought you'd show up.
Yeah.
Now we gotta go. She's like, but wait a minute. He goes, fuck. And all of a sudden he kisses her.
Fire.
But he's like, fuck, she's here. She wants in on this. And she makes it clear. And he's like, no, not here. Not now. This is not happening. And he goes to walk her out. They're walking out and he is explaining to her and she's asking all these probing questions about what is happening there. They execute primal play where there is prey and a predator. And basically you get hunted. And it all goes down to your primal instinct of fight or flight. So this really requires a lot of trust and communication because there's a lot of C&C. So C&C is consent, non-consent. You give your consent wholeheartedly at the beginning of it. But when that scene is being acted out, there may be not a moment where you can give illicit consent for what is happening. And it can get pretty rough because your primal instincts are coming into play because you're being chased. Maybe I don't know what a PhD in human sexuality involves. I wanted to look it up and made it on my list to do my Google search, but I didn't make it that far.
Yeah.
Is kinks not something that you would study, like the taboo sexual genre?
I can only fathom.
I'm just going with, I know when you get into a realm of research that you tend to have a narrow vision, and maybe she went down one rabbit hole and not the others.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
That's where I'm going with that.
Or she
Yeah.
had a focus for her studies. I think it's definitely more mainstream now than it used to be. During that walk downstairs, the more he's explaining to her, the more she's like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And she even reveals to him at that point in time that she broke up with Dylan.
Yep.
And she tells him that none of her other lovers have ever made her come.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I mean,
my
anytime you
God.
say that to a man,
Yep.
when is he not going to go, well, fuck, it's going to be me?
Well, and I think it's interesting because he made such a big deal in his own head. She offered him her virginity. He didn't end up taking it and regretted it for the next 8 years, that he could have had that gift and didn't. Now he's learning that, oh, that's one type of one time ever kind of experience. I have the opportunity to have this other one to be the first person to give her an orgasm. Whew, that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
She broke him right there.
Yeah.
As they're at the car and she's getting ready to get in, Juliet says to Chase, well, what if I wanted to do this? What would I need to do? And he makes it very clear to her, well, hey, you need to do your research. You need to figure out what you're into, what you're not into, what your hard lines are, and you need to learn what the guidelines are to pursue something like this before you even think of walking into it.
Because he says very specifically, this kind of event is not where you go to figure yourself out when you're just learning and exploring. It's like, this is advanced level stuff.
Well, of course, she's a researcher. I appreciate that she took it upon herself to do some research and come back so she could feel educated.
Yeah, she kind of has an understanding about what she wants to do.
Yep.
Now she's got to figure out how to do it. So she texts Jackson, who is living at Chase's house, out of the blue and says, hey, do you want to have dinner? I think, in my eyes, in the hopes of running into Chase at the house.
100%.
Yeah, totally.
So Jackson's like, hey, can you grab another burrito? They have an obsession with fucking Chipotle. I don't know. Absolutely know why, but
it
it's
was
cute.
funny.
So she gets to the penthouse. She's got 3 burritos, one for her, one for Jackson, one for the mystery, potentially Chase.
Yeah, I was going to say, she thought Chase was there. She was like, ooh, third burrito, he's there.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah. It's his brother, Miles. Boom, 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 boom. I love Miles, by the way. I love him.
Gee, Joey, did you read the book all about Miles?
I've read all the books except for the last one. Because it's not on audio yet.
Glutton.
Yeah, I was obsessed with this fucking series and all the brothers. Obsessed. So unfortunately, it's Miles. Chase is not there. All of a sudden, Miles gets a phone call. He comes back and he's like, oh, it was Chase. Juliet says to herself, don't do it, don't do it. Hey, where is Chase, by the way?
So good. So good.
Which, of course, Miles is like, eyebrow raise.
Yep. He's hunting at the castle.
People who don't know about what his particular interests were, you would just hear like, oh, they have a lot of land. He's actually gone hunting. But Juliet now knows what that actually means. It's like she got that little secret look in.
So she skirts off to the bathroom with her phone and Googles Ravage Castle, Primal Play, and gets a website that comes up. And they're doing an event there this weekend at the castle. So she's messaging the moderator of the site. Hey, how do I get involved? She goes and has dinner with Jackson and finds out it's an invite-only event. And they don't give invitations through the site. She's like, fuck, what do I do now? She decides Miles, because Miles lives at Ravage Castle full-time, may know something. So she leaves her brother, who has now fallen asleep on the couch, watching fucking an X-Men movie, because that's all they fucking do, and eat ice cream, goes over to the office, goes and talks to Miles and said, hey, if I wanted to go hunting at the castle, how would I get a license?
And he gets a little twinkle in his eye and opens a drawer and slides out a black envelope.
Loved it.
I love how meddlesome his brother is.
Yes, absolutely.
Fast forward, our girl Juliet packs her underwear and her gigantic luggage. Because, of course, what do you wear to Primal Play party at a castle? She shows up and she's like, fuck, what am I doing? Here's my invite. Hi. Checking in for one.
I was so scared shitless, to be honest with you. I was like, oh, God, is she going to be way out of her league? Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, because how does she guarantee that she even ends up with Chase? She could have ended up with anybody.
Right? Because she didn't know even what his involvement was.
Right.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's not actually what she had thought it would be. He just kind of makes it into that. But I digress. Anyhow.
You can do all the research in the world you want. When reality sets in about a particular situation, it's completely different.
Oh, yeah.
So the coordinator's talking about, hey, we'll do your intake survey. We'll talk about your limits. And we'll get you matched up with a dom that fits your needs. And who comes over? Angry Stomp.
There is nothing I love more than the sound of a crisp, leather-bottomed, expensive men's shoe on tile floor. Oh, God. Nom, 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 nom.
So what ensues now is, what the fuck are you doing here, Juliet? Juliet says to him, I want you to be my dom. And he's like, fuck, okay, let's do this.
Yep.
But we're going to do this by the rules. First, Juliet, you're going to stay in my quarters. So they're taking the elevator right up to the East Wing, which is only for the family. And he throws her up against the wall of the elevator and he kisses the ever-loving shit out of her. Like, the man who was all about control has lost control twice.
So good.
Mhm.
I also love when words are described as growling in a book.
Yes.
And when it's done really well. So I will say, for a quick offside about this, Lex, I don't know if I mentioned this to you.
I know what is coming right now.
Is
The
this a
fucking narrator
uh-huh.
is the same guy that narrated West in Perfect Fit. The fucking guy I hate, who sounds like Phil fucking Hartman from So I Married an Axe Murderer.
When we recorded that episode, you talked about the narrator, but you didn't say who it sounded like to you. You had messaged me and I didn't even fucking notice because I looked up this narrator in my audio library. I have 25 books narrated by this individual because he is extremely popular in the genre. I love his voice. I think he does a phenomenal job. Is he my top tier echelon? No, but I do enjoy his voice. So I don't hear it.
I'll have to actually go and listen to this now because
We are going to listen to it when we stop recording. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
We're going to play Phil Hartman talking about pissing into the bitch's ocular cavities. And then I wrapped my hand around her throat. Like, it's fucking the same cadence of speech and the same tone. It drives me up a goddamn wall.
Were you able to
can't
get
wait.
past it, though? Is there a point where you went, like, tone
Yes.
deaf with it?
Yes, this book, he wasn't dialed up quite as much as he was in Perfect Fit, especially when he was playing the younger Chase Ravage. I didn't catch it until chapter 2 because he changed how he was talking. He was talking kind of younger and more light in that first opening chapter. And then chapter 2, and I was like, oh my God, it's him. So anyways, sorry. But
amazing.
getting back to a man pushing somebody up against the wall in an elevator and growling, "You're mine," into her ear. Yum.
So you
Yeah.
clearly know he was battling with his inner demons because you find out he has loved her. He always thought she was perfect, but he is so sullied in who he is and what he's interested in.
Well, he thinks he's sullied.
Yeah.
Let's be clear that he's not sullied.
No.
It's just its own personal view.
Yeah.
Right.
The biggest hurdle in this situation was this is his best friend's little sister.
If he fucks it up, he's going to fuck up
Yes.
this and his other relationship. Everything that he has loved his whole life, basically,
Mhm.
since he's been in high school,
'Cause-
is going to disappear for him.
Jackson's as close as any of his brothers.
So he's giving in to make this happen. They get upstairs to their quarters, but he wants to realistically lay out what Juliet is in for, should she decide she's going to do this. So he opens up the safe, and here comes all this paperwork that is happening. His intake form that says basically what his limits are, what he's into, what his experience is, and he has her fill one out. And she pretty much knows all this stuff because she's done so much research. And there were a couple of things that she was questioning him on. He really tried to paint a very clear picture, tried to ask her 4 or 5 different ways. Juliet, are you sure? Juliet, are you sure?
Yeah, I love when he's sitting there, not even giving the pen over yet. I pictured him holding it just out of reach and being like, you understand it means this. You understand that we're going to be doing that. And she's just like, give me the fucking pen, you know?
Yeah.
So good.
She's like, I'm game. I'm ready to do this. They have safe words. They're using the traffic light color system.
Yeah.
Green, yellow, red, which you hear a lot of in this book. Nonverbal cues.
Yeah.
They've signed the contract. They're ready to go. He's not going to start today, but he wants her to realize that a lot of what happens in Primal Play is about the senses. So they take a walk into the forest behind Ravage Castle. And he has her stop and he has her lay down on the ground.
Complains about the dirt and the noises and worried about ants.
Oh my God, I wanted to slap her.
But when she finally gets into the right headspace, she closes her eyes and he asks, what does she feel? What does she hear? And it's really about tapping into your other senses. All of a sudden he says, Juliet, what do you taste? Lick my neck. And all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
Nom, nom, nom.
It gets really wild. Against a tree, in the middle of a forest.
I love the way these descriptions are written.
Yeah.
They were really, really good.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Yeah.
There was no
Oh.
penetration in this, but the two of them just touching and nails and breaking of skin and biting and nipple sucking. It was fucking hot as hell.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I call foreplay.
All of a sudden, in the middle of everything happening, Juliet says, oh my God, I'm about to come.
He's like, nope, not yet. I'll tell you when you're going to come.
And also, you must trust me to give you what you need.
When you need it.
How you need it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they get back from their outdoorsy hike. He leaves her in the room. She takes a shower. She reads books. She works on her dissertation. He had to go work with the JOM group to figure out things that were happening to the event. And a whole 3 hours go by until he comes back. And she had just started reading her novel when she heard the door, and she starts being her bratty self. And you keep hearing throughout this book, Chase does not deal with brats. And Juliet's basically being bratty because she wants to be punished. She's pushing that limit.
Oh, yeah. She just wants to provoke the shit out of him because she just wants anything and everything so badly. It's wonderful.
Well, and that was always their dynamic, too.
True.
This banter and back and forth. And she always pressed his button.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's already established as a part of their dynamic, which is why I think she's able to get away with it in ways that the other subs never were.
Absolutely.
She pretends like she's not paying attention to him coming in, even though she wants to jump up and say, where the fuck have you been for the past 3 hours? And she is avoiding him. And Chase not having it. So this is the first true scene we have happen within the book. And the big trigger when they're going to start a scene is what?
He's going to roll up them sleeves.
Ooh,
Fucking
I was like, forearm.
Rolling up the sleeves of a fucking well-tailored dress shirt. Yes. And he's got
Something that's-
tattoos too, right?
No.
Brothers,
Oh, okay, I must have invented that then.
You're just adding them in for your own hotness.
Clearly. Yeah.
So he tells her, I'm giving you 30 seconds to go hide. And when I find you, you'll be punished.
She's in a bathrobe, no shoes. He gives her the 3rd floor, the floor they're on. That's as far as she's allowed to go. Pours himself a drink. And he starts the countdown. And she's still talking to him. And he's like, whatever, 28, 27. She's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And goes. So she starts exploring the 3rd floor. And, you know, there's bedrooms and salons and a music room and a library. And she sees the staircase. And she's like, well, he'd expect me to go into a bedroom. And it's still technically the 3rd floor. He didn't say I couldn't go to something that leads to other floors. So she goes hides in the stairwell.
I love then where he goes out and it switches over to his perspective. And he's like, so I'm expecting her to push the limits of what I've told her to the most extreme thing. So I told her she could stay on the 3rd floor. So what's the closest thing to it not being the 3rd floor? The stairwell. And he goes fucking directly there.
He looks at the carpet and he sees her footprints too. Says something like, oh, my sweet, simple girl. It's so easy.
She's going to have to get better at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, so she goes back to the room.
Oh, I'm sorry. She doesn't just go back to the room.
Crucial detail.
Come on now. It's your favorite thing in the world. He throws her over his shoulder.
spanks that ass, and then carries her like his prized deer into the bedroom. Which, by the way, the passcode to the bedroom is 1124, which is her birthday.
Yeah,
God
he's
damn.
been obsessed with her forever.
So romantic.
He has her lie across his lap, butt up in the air, and he spanks her. And he basically asks her, "Why did you go hide there, Juliet?" And she lies to him. And he says, "I can tell when you're lying. Your voice drops an octave. Tell me the truth." And he spanks her again.
But I believe he also had started out with one number, and when she lies, he doubles it and makes her count it out.
When she finally admits that she wanted to be caught, he then has her get up, take off her robe, and he's just staring at her body. And he sees the tiny little tattoo that she has of a rose with her parents' initial on her hip.
Yeah.
And he puts his hand on it like he is touching the most important, most beautiful thing he's ever seen in the entire world. And then he sullies the crap out of it when he has her go bend on the dining room table, and he spanks her for real this time.
She does so well that he decides to reward her, and he flips her around on the dining room table, and he goes down on her and gives her an orgasm, her first one.
Yeah.
First one ever at the hand of another human besides Wolverine or herself, you know.
Fast forward to the next day. This is the first day of the hunt. And the way it works is it's not this big group event. Ravage Castle is basically a place for Doms and Sub to come together to do their own particular activities. Chase is going to do a first primal play hunt with Juliet. And they get outside and he rolls his sleeves up and he tells Juliet to go run.
She's a runner.
She does marathons.
She runs every day. They're running through the forest.
He thought, she's not running so fast. He catches her the first time, and then she fights back. She escapes, and then it's real. Oh, yeah.
When he finally catches her, Juliet's being a bit of a brat. He takes her underwear off, and he ties her hands with her underwear.
Yes.
Hot.
So she'll stop pushing at him.
Yes.
Hot.
Hello.
Hot. Yep.
Oh, I almost forgot that. I saw that in my notes. All highlighted. Exclamation point. Bold. 26-point font.
He's like, you are a matching red underwear. It's like a target. You wanted to get caught. And she's like, oh, no. It's great.
This is not sweet.
No.
It's nails on the skin, and he's got his R ring, which every family member has something with the letter R on it. It's a big thread in the series of the book. And he is pushing it up against her inner thighs that there's a bruise there with it.
Yeah, as he's finger fucking her, right? So she's got like a brand of an R on her inner thigh. If you were wondering what was happening in the bird brain at this point, it was, oh, but what if she gets like a leaf or dirt in her pussy? She's like lying on the dirt on the ground. Like, it's getting like all up in there.
Nope, wasn't even thinking that.
Because at one point she says he was fucking me so hard that we moved like 2 feet from where we originally started.
That's right, because she ends up with these
scrapes on her back from the rocks and everything. She didn't fucking care because this was like fucking hot as fuck sex.
And that's how he knew that she was super into it also, because she stopped caring about the dirt and the ants and the things and the birds and the and was just super into it, which I liked a lot. Joey, you also got a I'm going to finger my comeback into you.
Yeah.
That is big this season.
It is my new flavor of 2025, man. Loving it. You know what it is? It's the male perspective of when he's pushing that comeback in, of that possessiveness, of that claiming, where you hear him say, I love to watch my cum come out of your pussy, but it's got to stay all in there because you're mine. I was like, Gotta tell you, like, the smut in this book, so well fucking written.
On point. So
Just means-
good. I gotta say, it's some of the stuff that we've read is felt formulaic, and so I was getting a little tired of it all. Not this one. No, sir.
Yeah. I will just say that aftercare in this book was very well done.
Yes.
Which we haven't seen that as much in any of the other books.
Not just the aftercare, but prepping her before things too, making sure that she's eaten, that
Yes.
everything
that,
is
yes.
there. There's something they say in there about the importance of being a dom is making sure that the person is 100% cared for.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll find that true dominants want nothing more than to worship their submissives.
So the scene ends. They're walking back through the forest, just chatting. And just in the middle of the conversation, she stumbles on a rock, trips, falls, hits her head, and starts to bleed. And all of a sudden you see Chase, something happened to him.
Oh, he starts to fucking panic, like full-on panic attack.
Yeah.
And just goes to a place where he's not there. He like picks her up and carries her all the way back. And she's like, I can walk. I'm pretty sure I'm okay. He's like, nope. And she finally just like gives up trying to get down and walk herself, and then just like arranges herself so that it's the least difficult for him to carry her back. But he's like quiet the whole time.
Full on panic in his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor looked at her. She's fine.
It's a minor gash. Head wounds bleed.
She doesn't have a concussion. She sprained her ankle. She's supposed to stay off everything. They go back up to the room and she's, oh, darn, I'm a little disappointed. Now we can't go hunting. And Chase is ready to bring her home. He's like, that's it. You're done. You got hurt because of me. And she's like, wait a minute. I tripped on a fucking rock. What does this have to do with you? He's like, it could have happened when I was chasing you. Any of this could have happened. You're in danger. You're going to go. She does a little reverse psychology on him, which I'm shocked this even fucking worked.
Right.
She says to him, okay, fine. But before we go, can you help me change my clothes? I'm dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay. So she rips his shirt off because, of course, she's not wearing her shirt because he ripped it clear off her body in the forest.
Yeah, I love it.
She's wearing his flannel. And then she looks at him with her Joe little eyes and her whole little foot and goes, can you help me with the pants? And he helps her take the pants off, and he's visibly shaking because he's getting to touch her. And then she says to him, well, I really think I should take a shower before I go. Can you hold me up so I don't fall? And he calls her out on it. He goes, I see what you're doing here. And she's like, what are you afraid of? I want to stay. Just because we can't go running doesn't mean we can't stay here and continue this all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, he gives in. If I'm only going to get her, I'm going to keep her this entire weekend. And they have an amazing fucking time. And the weekend's over. They get in the car to go back, and he stops at her house and says, well, you can't come to the penthouse. Jackson's there. We got to figure out later. He's going to have to know. And Juliet's a little worried. She's like, fuck, I want to keep doing this. We work really well together. I don't understand. And basically, he says the same thing to her. He goes, now that I have you, I'm not going to let you go. Let's give this a real try. Let's try to date. The next couple of weeks progress. Juliet is Chase's date at this beautiful work event where she gets to wear this super special dress, once worn by Princess Diana. Okay, this is where the opulence comes into play.
Did you guys know exactly what that dress was?
Absolutely.
When they described it, I was like, is that the one I'm thinking of? And I had to like Google it. And I was like, yes, it is that dress. It is a little bit of a weird detail that it was formerly owned by his mom. He put her in his mother's dress.
Well, to think of how else he would have had access to it.
Yeah, okay.
It would only make sense if somehow, some way he owned the dress.
Yes.
And the only person that it would make sense out of the women would be his mother.
Mom. Yeah, totally. Yes. We want to talk opulence, the dress that's insured for $1 million. Oh, that was also the first inkling of Jackson figuring out something was going on. because a box gets delivered to the house and it's with a couple dozen black roses and then the box with the black ribbon on it. And Jackson's like, what's that about? And she goes and opens it up in her room. And when he comes in the room to talk to her about something and she quickly hides it, it's like, he's not stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not like his sister going, who paid for this party? He fucking knows who paid for it immediately.
Also, he lives in an apartment where there are constantly black fucking roses.
Did you guys Google those?
No.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Oh.
They're actually a deep, deep, deep purple that almost
red,
look black.
yeah.
That are only grown in Turkey. And I love that you hear that he got the seeds flown in from Turkey and he grows them at the castle and he grows them at the penthouse. So he constantly has them. Like those little components of not being near someone for 8 years, but using her birthday as your fucking password. All these little things, like they have permanently etched themselves into your heart. And their sex chemistry keeps going up and up and up. So why don't we let our sexy stud read us one of the smutty chemistry moments that they have? What do you think? Rah, 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 rah. All right, take it away, sexy stud.
I shoot her a warning glance, and she drops back onto the bed. Turn around so your head is hanging off the bed. I see the instant she realizes that I'm about to fuck her mouth. Her lips part and she eagerly turns around, her neck and head hanging off the side closest to me. God, she will be my undoing. Just seeing her laying on my bed, perky tits bouncing as I slide my cock down her throat. I remove my boxers and walk up to her. Open your mouth, Parker. She does as I say, and my bed is the perfect height for me to slide right into her mouth. I hiss as her teeth graze the underside of my length, but after I take half a step closer, I'm able to slide in with less resistance. Okay? I ask, my voice gravelly and hoarse. It feels so fucking good. She gives me a thumbs up. You remember your nonverbal safe word? I ask, trying not to smile when I imagine her humming the theme song to Wolverine with my cock down her throat. Another thumbs up. Good girl. Now take a deep breath, I instruct. Her eyes find mine as I pull out. She inhales, her tongue dancing over the head of my cock, and then I slam into her mouth, hitting the back of her throat. Fuck! I groan, wrapping a hand around her upside-down throat as I piston in and out of her hot, wet mouth.
I love that so much.
So good. I have to tell you, I haven't read this too often, but I hear it is an amazing position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's preferred by many. Yes.
But yeah, I saw it and I was like, this season seems to be a lot more blowjobs than last season.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that they went there. Woohoo.
So, of course, we would not have a book if turmoil doesn't ensue. Jackson somehow finds out, doesn't think Chase is any good. Nobody's talking to anybody. People are moving out. They're mad. Business trips. You're going to have to read the fucking rest of this book to find out what happened.
I was heartbroken when Jackson really said fuck no, Chase. You can't date my sister. You're not fucking good enough for her.
This is your best friend saying this. My heart was broken. Especially where we knew that Chase was doing all this stuff to support Jackson.
Yeah.
Just like Jackson didn't support him.
It was so insulting. I felt so bad for Chase. There's also another little side plot involving Jackson and Chase that when it resolves towards the end of the book, I literally was tearing up in my car. It was so
cute.
The bromance that they had.
They had a really good bromance.
It was so sweet. Yeah.
I actually really like that the drama that's happening in this book isn't necessarily oh my God, Chase and Juliet aren't going to get together because some kind of miscommunication.
No.
It's more oh, there's feelings and drama about other things outside of their relationship. They as a couple can figure it out together.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's fun. That's refreshing.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, all right. Now that I'm very hot and bothered by drinking 2 Hunters while we were recording this, please tell me it's that time.
I think it is that time.
It absolutely is.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Welcome to Dishin.
With the dames.
So we, at this point, have gone over so many different kinks. And there have been times when we've done our ratings and we've given things either higher or lower because of kinks that are in each book. So this is where I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite kink that you like to read about?
God, that's a really fucking good question.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if I have an answer for that yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, let me rephrase it then. At this current state in time.
Yeah.
I will read about every kink. I have personal favorites that I like done to me, but I am very open to reading about any kink. I will tell you, primal play. This is the second time we've had it outlined this season alone. I wasn't necessarily into it. This book, I was into it. Fucking hot. To the point that made me go, I would fucking try that. And then there are the kind of kinks that I like. A little bit of hand necklace, all about the praise kink. A little bit of edging. I think you gotta know how to do it well, where you're withholding just enough to build it and not withholding just enough where I want to smack you. So there are things that I personally like, but write it. I'll read it. Sometimes it will do a really good job for me.
Exactly. I think the favorite things to read about are the things that I don't want to do in real life. So I get the full satisfaction about reading about them without having to do them. I do like to read about edging because that's not a thing for me.
I remember you saying,
in real life.
I would kill my husband.
Literally fucking kill somebody. It's not a thing that makes it better for me. But maybe I just haven't pushed the limits of it enough. So I don't know. But I also really like reading about exhibitionism. Even if it's just they're outside in the forest, there were other people that were on the property at the time. You never fucking know. Our last book, they're out at a gallery with lots of people. We've had other instances of that. And that's something where it's I don't think that's for me. But I love reading about it because it's so hot. It's so fun. I love the thrill of the fear. But I don't think I necessarily want that fear for myself in real life. I think that that's my favorite one.
All right, Lex. What about you? What kind of kink do you like to read about?
Well, I mean, I guess it's nobody's surprise that I like the reverse harem kink.
You?
I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed reading about the primal. I hadn't thought about it before until we started reading these books. And I'm like, all right, let's read a couple more of these.
Yeah.
We haven't had too many with bondage as far as really tying people up or shibari or something like that. So that we haven't hit
Book
that.
3.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Which brother is that?
Liam.
Oh, the oldest. Okay.
Okay.
And it's funny because all the books have their own particular kink, some way, shape, or form.
I will say when I was reading through the list, when they were going over the limits, and I was like, oh, no, I'm not reading that, and I'm not reading that or doing that. And for me, it's no golden showers, no brown play, no
Infantilism.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
no,
God,
thank
no.
you.
No,
thank
no.
you.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not interested. If it's your thing, great, good, glad.
Yeah.
Go find somebody else who
We
will
can
do that
sit-
with you. Yep.
And again, to each their own, whatever's your jam is whatever your jam is. It just may not be mine. We all have our hard limit. As 3 very progressive modern women, I think our kink level threshold is probably a little higher than some of the average people out there.
I'd venture to say probably.
I don't know. I think we probably end up somewhere in the middle.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But-
Okay.
It's true.
We're going to have to do some homework. I'm going to find us a really great kink quiz to see how far we rate on the kink scale.
Oh, my God.
So we could do that off record and come back with it.
Yeah, now
sometime.
wouldn't that be great? Let's get a refill. Let's fill these glasses up. And how about we put a number to this book? I tell you, I have immense pressure because of the resident smut slut of the podcast. I feel like I have to choose good books. And the last thing I want to do is let either of you down and choose something shitty. So let's rate this bitch. We're going to start with romance. You can give this anywhere from 1 to 5 roses. Birdie, how romantic was this book for you?
I am putting this at a 4.5. I thought it was super romantic. I loved the secret romance that they each kind of had with each other before they realized that they were actually fucking in love with each other immediately. It was so cute. The gestures that he did for her through to the end of the book, very adorable, sweet things. And I love sweetness coming out of somebody that loves to be dominant at the same time.
Yeah.
Super romantic. Loved it.
Lex.
I am putting this at a 4. I thought it was super romantic, but not just for Juliet and Chase. But I loved the romance that happened as a sidebar with Jackson.
Yeah.
And he finds love.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so, there's a couple themes of love going on through here. I was like, oh, all right. I like this whole little world. I seem to say that a lot. Started off going, oh, I don't know if I want to read this. And then I get into it.
Yeah. It sucks you in, right?
It does. I love how Chase's walls did come down, how he's always telling other people to give him trust so that he can be a really good dom. But he ends up eventually trusting Juliet with his heart.
Yes, that was such a cute line. What did he say? You hold my heart in your hands, so please be gentle.
He's like, look at your
Oh,
hands.
Yeah.
It's a 4. Joey.
Birdie, 4.5, just like you. And for the reasons both of you had said. You want to know what makes me weak in the knees? A big, dominant man who falls at their knees for a particular woman and just breaks down all the walls for this one person. That, to me, is mush. Agree with you both, 5,000%, 4.5. This book was fucking romantic as shit. Ooh, the fun one. Moving on to the smuts. You can give this anywhere from 1 to 5 raindrops. All right, Lex, I see your eyes peeking over. How schmutty did you find this book?
4.75.
What? Woo!
So I know you range your score sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go how personally smutty you found it, or B, how much smut was in the book. I give my scores how I personally found it.
Mm-hmm.
Personal or how much smut was in it.
It got to be both because there's a lot in this book, and I really found it hot the way it was written. Like I said earlier, I didn't know I'd be into primal play. I'm like, yeah, this sounds good. I would like it a little more cat and mouse because, I just personally don't want to run that much.
Love
If we could do it more hide and seek, yes, this sounds good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The scenes were written very, very hot. It was varied, a little bit kinky, a little bit soft and sweet. Little shout out to the epilogue that was both really, really hot and romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you got my heart and the pussy thinking at the same time. So it gets a high score for that.
All right, Birdie.
I'm at a 4.5. The only reason this didn't get a full-on 5 for me is because I wanted it to push into something ever so slightly more kinky right at the end. They were like, oh, and he has these gloves. Oh, and she's got a collar. And I was like, oh, I want more of that earlier. No, you just mentioned it.
Mm.
Come on. No, I want more. I wanted just one more little thing that pushed it into that extra next level kink realm. Considering this is a fucking guy that spends probably hundreds of thousands of dollars on these extravagant parties a year, let's fucking go, buddy. So I wanted a little bit more from him, but otherwise, yeah, no, I loved it. I thought it was super fun, opened my eyes to a couple sides and elements in the BDSM world that I had never really learned about.
Do either of you know, does the extra epilogue have more kink in it?
I didn't download it. I went over to the next book.
There's an extra?
Yeah.
There's an extra. It's one of those like, click here, download the extra.
They don't do that in
Epilogue.
Audible.
No. Yeah.
Well, somebody fucking download that shit.
I'll go get it.
Because maybe that's got what I want.
I'm landing at a 4. Was it great, beautifully written smut? Absolutely. Was there a lot of it? Absolutely. Believe it or not, I thought this book was going to be kinkier than what we got.
Yeah,
I felt this was on a 1 to 10 Scoville level. This book only came in at a 6. With the subject matter, I thought we were going to get a 7 or 8. I don't think we had any fingers in the ass.
Oh, you're right.
I don't think we had any DP. There was no real toys involved in that. It was okay. It was good. I think what brought it to a 4 for me is how well it was written.
Yeah, and I think the writing was so good that I didn't even notice that those things were
Yeah,
missing.
just for some reason, like the way the book was framed for me and the way I was reading it, I was waiting for that amping up, like I was wanting a little bit more. And it's funny because the entire series maintained this level. It was on the fringe of dirty. It was well written. My first time reading Amanda Richardson, and I love her writing style. I especially love the way she writes smut. She writes it in a provoking way. There was a scene in book 2, my favorite one, Miles, that gave me literal body shivers.
Ooh, body shivers.
Yeah, that I had to go back and listen to again because of the subject matter, and that particular kink in there was like, yeah. But none of the books, even the 4th one, which Jude was a sadist, so a lot more spanking, a lot more tying up, a lot more bondage element of it, still never hit that ultra threshold for me. So this is getting a 4. Moving on to story. You can give it anywhere from 1 to 5 storybooks. Is this a Thomas the Tank Engine for you? Or is this coming in at Pride and Prejudice to Fahrenheit 451?
Those are 2 very different books. Fahrenheit 451's way too fucking real right now.
I know, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Whatever. Okay.
I'm too busy laughing.
I didn't necessarily think the story was all that groundbreaking. I thought it flowed nicely and it moved along very smoothly. So I'm coming in at like a middle ground at a 3. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just not necessarily like the kind of book that you want to read for the story element. The character building was done really well. Character development was great. The side plots were very interesting, almost as interesting as the main plot. Yeah, it was really well done, but like not like some kind of fantasy novel with world building and multiple layers and, you know, super complicated things and whatever. So anyhow, yeah.
All right, Lex.
I am also coming in around a 3. I think for me, it would have been lower, except the writing was actually really, really good. And the pieces that she put in, I really enjoyed. It's the thing of like, oh, it's another billionaire with a abusive background that's broken, that has to have control. This sounds familiar. And there's even a joke inside the book referring to another book where this is a very similar background. It's meta. It knows it's not original, and that's okay. But it's a very good, solid structure to give us what we're here for, which is the romance in the smut. So I'm giving it a very solid 3.
I can't say it any better than the 2 of you. It's a 3. It's good. It's not earth-shattering. It's not earth-breaking. I think the writing style and the character development and the beautiful smut are what made this book. It wasn't this unique storyline. You can read 45 other books, but what made it unique is the way Amanda wrote the characters, the connections that they had, and the beautiful, beautiful smut. So we're going at a 3.
I love it when you're like, the beautiful, beautiful smut.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just chef's kiss, baby.
Yep.
This is it. Overall, once you smash all the numbers together, you tie them up with some handcuffs and some whips and some chains and some leather. Overall, where did this book land for you? You can give it anywhere from 1 to 5 Ekima Waggy plants. Lex, how bad was this book?
In the very best way. It is a super, super solid 3.5. Enjoyed it. It was great. I wasn't ready to read more of these, but since you've spent a good chunk of us talking this afternoon about all the other brothers, I'm like, yeah, all right, I might pick up another one of those. Just all on its own. It's a good, solid read. It's fun. 3.5.
Bird.
I'm coming in like ever so slightly higher, like 3.75. The only reason I'm not rating it higher is just because, like, yeah, some of the story elements are a little bit more common, but I do think that this is the kind of book that I'll recommend to people for sure, because it's kinkier for people who are looking for a next step into the pool, and it's well written and it's fun.
So this is coming in at a 4 for me. I know we really haven't delved too much about how we score things. Generally, a 3 is I liked the book. The author was good. I got some entertainment out of it. I may or may not read other books that they've written. I may or may not delve in further in the series. But if I liked it, it gets a 3. If I really, really liked it, it gets a 4. And that generally means immediately after I finished the book, I went to see what other books there were in this series.
Yep.
And if it kept me going and I wanted to read every book in the series, you have done your job. I was not able to control myself. There were components in there that wanted for me to further the story. If it gets a 5, I am bowing at the altar of that author. I am downloading every piece of shit you have written, and I will read it, and I will be a loyal fan, and every time you come out with something new, I don't care how good or bad or ugly, I love you, and I will continue to read everything you wrote. So for me, this was a 4. I immediately continued with every single book. Did I like other books within this series more than this one? Believe it or not, I did. So I hate to say it, I kind of have the feeling of having read the entire series of where my score is coming from. I will tell you, what Amanda did was she took one of my least favorite tropes, put it in a book, and had me listening to all 10 hours of it. I did not DNF it because I liked her writing style. And even though I cringed and she did some of the things that I severely dislike for this particular trope, which we'll delve on later in the season, because I'm picking one of those books on purpose, I still kept going because I like the way she writes. I like the things that she says, and I like the way she weaves the story. So for me, this came out as a really, really like this author. Can't wait to read more. I'm going with the 4. Well, that's it. Another episode in the books. Please, please, please make sure you visit us at the Lusty Library Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, the Lusty Library Pod on Blue Sky, or our little wee baby, and come support us on our Patreon page, the Lusty Library Podcast.
You've heard us say this before. Now go do it. Press the follow button. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and now on Patreon. Get those notifications so you know when the new episodes are up.
Do you not really use your social medias? Do you not want to hit the stupid follow button on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube? Well, it's easy. Go to the lustylibrarypodcast.com, scroll all the way down the bottom. When I said all the way, I mean the last place down the bottom, and sign up for our mailing list. You'll get advance notification of all of our recipes and every time we launch a new episode, so you'll never miss a moment of this crazy, wacky madness.
All right, everybody. And if you haven't written us a review yet, and I know we ask for this a lot, and it seems like we're asking a lot in your very busy life for you to pause and write a 2-minute review for us on one of our platforms, but hey, listen, if you don't think you have those 2 minutes, maybe you have the 3 seconds that it takes to go link, send one of your friends a link to our podcast on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. Or send our Instagram handle over to somebody. Share us with your friends. Share us with your favorite sushi chef.
Because everybody has a favorite sushi chef.
Well, duh.
Share us with your favorite bartender. Share us with your favorite grocery store clerk.
Oh my God, hasn't somebody been sharing us quite a bit recently?
Yes. Oh, we want to give a shout out to Claire on the Cape. Claire on the Cape, you have made our day so many days. And we just thank you so much for all of your support. You are amazing. Wonderful support.
Thank you.
And one of us may have just picked your book recommendation for later in the season, so get ready, Claire. Your pick is coming later.
Yay! So exciting.
And speaking of books coming up, for next episode, it is my turn.
Lex, what did you choose?
Well, I went down a rabbit hole because, you know this author, Rebecca Yarros? Did you know that she writes things that aren't fantasy?
I cannot fucking wait to read something else by her.
Yes. So I picked her book Variation,
Okay.
which is...
Don't even tell me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's leave Birdie
Let's leave it.
behind.
But it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yes.
As always, we can never thank you enough for tuning in and listening to three batshit ladies who get a little drunk and talk about smutty books. But we greatly appreciate you. We greatly appreciate your support. And all we can say is we love you and thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.